episode of Tuesdays with Tally. This is episode 25, and I'm your host, Brian Tally. The mission and the goal of this podcast is to bring an engaging conversation that will add value to the lives of everyday people. We will inspire, encourage, educate, and tell the stories of some of America's finest men and women in an effort to motivate you to live your life to its fullest potential. Be sure to follow us on social media and on Spotify. The online information and handles are all located on the scrolling ticker at the bottom portion of your screen. Be sure to like and share the program as well. You can also support the program by going to Anchor FM or Spotify and clicking the support button. Also, become a program sponsor today. Are you a business owner? Get your gear, products, merchandise, or services out to the general public today. Program sponsorships include a custom written script to advertise your business to its fullest potential to get the results you're looking for. To learn more, email me today at thetallybill@gmail.com. That's thetallybill@gmail.com. Folks, we have a very special guest joining us on today's program and one of my favorite singers. Adam C. Martin is a former corrections, law enforcement, and military police officer. He served with the 810th MP Company in Iraq in 2003 and 2004 and was awarded the Combat Action Badge and Army Commendation Medal. After returning home as a form of self-therapy, Adam began teaching himself how to play the guitar. Eventually, he learned how to sing and began writing songs. He formed a band, Blackbird Anthem, in 2015 and has played for events and veterans across the country. Since then, he has released several records, a few music videos, and plans on going back to the recording studio this fall. In 2021, Adam retired from his full-time job as a college professor of business administration and now pursues his musical and veteran support passions full-time. And with that, we are honored to be joined by Adam Martin himself. How are you?
I'm good. Doing really good, Tally. How about yourself?
Another day, another dollar.
Well, hopefully. That dollar's getting smaller and smaller right now.
Yeah, inflation, probably 73 cents maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But, hey, man, thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah.
This was kind of a real quick, hey, podcast, sure, yeah, tonight. Why not?
Yep, I love it, man. I'm very excited to do this with you. Like I said, you're one of my favorite guys out there in the music industry. I listen to you every day when I'm driving and walking on my walks outside, and you've got some great music out there. You got a great cause. You do great concerts, and I want to share you with the rest of the world and with the rest of the veteran community that may not know who you are at Blackbird Anthem.
We appreciate that. We've been around. So actually started in 2015. So this month we just hit 7 years. And it took a while. It took a while. It takes you a while to find your sound. It takes you a while to find the right team around you. We can all understand a good team of people around you. Everybody has their individual jobs, but you work together for a common goal. And to find a group of musicians that, not one of them want to be the star quarterback. Not one of them, has the ego of, well, I always have to shine. It's like, okay, what needs to be put forward or pulled back here to make the overall sound the best? And that team concept, that's actually why I named the band a band name rather than, the Adam Martin or the Adam C. Martin Band or something like that. Because I didn't want it to just be about me. I wanted a band. I wanted a team. It took a little while, but I tell you, the team I have right now is just, I hope they stick around a while, and they have. I've had this team for about 2 years, and they're phenomenal.
I love the fiddle, you know what I mean? The steel guitar and the fiddle and all that, man. I was getting down and Sylvie and Silsby that one night with you guys. And man, that was an awesome time. It was the Don Jenkins Medal of Honor event. And man, you guys ripped it up. That was an awesome night.
That was one of those special nights of music. You know, I mean, we play a lot of shows, and you know, ever so often you get a show that just everything is just right. The sound is there, and it's like you're not playing the music. It's like you're letting the music flow through you, and that's how it felt that night. You know, just the energy of the place. You know, Lee Pelly opened, and then you had Old Lonesome come out, and then, you know, we were able to close out the night. You know, Don and you and all, you know, just so many friends that came together, to be for that cause. And you know, we can talk about whenever you want. We can talk about then the actual shoot for the music video. Which was another amazing time. But yeah, man, we have a blast. We love to play. We love to write. Love to interact with. You know, it's even hard to call sometimes and use the word fans, because, you know, usually everybody ends up becoming a friend. You know, and people that we know by first name, or hey, how are you? I mean, I might forget your name. I haven't seen you in a while, but I remember your face, and I know you're a friend. So, but
you know, you can relate. You know, and you can relate to pretty much all of your fans, because the majority of your fans are veterans. They're veteran supporters. They're fellow patriots. You know, so you know, you're more than just a music artist or a singer songwriter or what. I mean, you are Sergeant Martin. I mean, really, at the end of the day. And so, again, you know, you are very relatable to your fans who are your friends. And I think that's a very, very good way to put it. Now, before we get too far down the road here with the actual band itself, I want to get to know a little bit about Adam C. Martin. Where did you grow up?
Everywhere. I'm an Army brat. So my dad, 20-year career, Vietnam veteran. So I lived all over the place, born in Virginia. Spent the first 3 years of my life in Misawa, Japan. So, yeah. So even though, I mean, I don't have a whole lot of memory of the place, I still have a huge affinity for Japanese food and Japanese culture. You know, I love it. So I'm pretty sure I got that from being there real young. Lived back in Virginia, lived in Maryland. My dad was he was military intelligence, so he actually worked in the building at NSA for a while, and then he made chief warrant, and we left Maryland, and he was stationed at Bragg for a little while, North Carolina. From there, moved to Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. So I spent a little bit of middle school and my first year of high school in Hawaii. And probably a really good thing I didn't spend any more time than that in Hawaii, because I was going to the beach about as often as I was going to school. So, and riding around the island. I didn't finish my ninth grade year very well. But my dad retired in the ninth grade, and his hometown was in Florida. And so we moved from Hawaii to the middle of orange groves and in cattle ranches, and a little bit of a, well, this is different, you know. In Hawaii, I could pay a quarter and go anywhere on the island on the public bus system. And now I'm looking around. I don't have my license yet. You know, I'm 15, and well, I guess I could do homework. So really buckled down with school and ended up graduating like top 10 in my class. And so yeah, it was a good thing I didn't stay in high school in Hawaii. But so most of my maturing and growing from a teenager to a young man to husband, father, now about to be grandfather. Yeah, Florida's home. Florida's home for all that, for sure.
So that's where you've laid down some Adam Martin roots.
That's
it's
right.
in Florida. And what part of Florida are you at?
So I'm in Central Florida. So I'm in the middle of the state, probably equidistant between the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic. Little small, like I said, agricultural community, Highlands County, Sebring, Avon Park, and I mean that's the primary, kind of income source out there is through agriculture or some sort of government job. But it's quaint, it's cute. Got a lot of places to fish, a lot of places to hunt, and I live about 10 miles out of town, and I can't see any of my neighbors, and I love it.
You are in DeSantis country.
You are dang right. You are dang right. I am proud to be from the free state of Florida.
I love DeSantis. He's a tremendous naval JAG officer. He's an impeccable governor, and I'm going to use the word impeccable because what he has done is he has set the standard of every state in this nation on how they need to run their states. With the surplus unit.
Yeah. In a time of great darkness in our nation,
yeah,
he stood alone with a candle. He stood alone with a candle, and more people decided, hey, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna see what they're doing, and he led the way, and he made a path. And said, it's really not that hard to do. You just have to think for yourself and do what is best for your state and your people. Yeah. And, I've watched the man since he came into office. I'm very, very proud to vote for him again in November coming up. The man talks sense, decorated naval veteran. Family man, puts his wife and his children first, and he wants exactly what is best for the citizens of Florida, and he's not going to be intimidated by any other state or government to bring their ideals into the state of Florida. And we have put stuff into law to prevent some of those very, very woke and extreme liberal policies to come into the state of Florida. The man wears cowboy boots with his suit. You gotta love that.
Yes, he is a very special leader indeed. And again, he's not just the leader of Florida. He is a national leader. A lot of citizens in this country, a lot of states look to him for leadership.
A lot of fellow governors.
This is one of those states that, that certainly does look to him for leadership as well. So that says a lot, when you're running a state, the size of Florida, and you're doing so well there that you've got all these other governors and mayors and, community leaders from across, the country reaching out to him for counsel. And, that right there says a lot about his character and about what he does. He's a man of action.
Well, and not only that, but just by being who he was, he exposed the hypocrisies of many, Democratic leaders. Because during COVID, where did either that elected official themselves or their families, how many came to Florida? How many came to enjoy the beaches and not have to wear a mask and not be required to show a passport? you know, they didn't want to deal with any of that either. So they came to Florida.
The hypocrisy was absolutely disgusting. I don't have any other words for that. But you know what? This show is about you, Adam C. Martin, and we are going to stay with you. We just wanted to give a shout out to the great governor of Florida. Now, you too have served time in the military, and believe you were in the Army. What inspired you to join the service after high school?
My dad. You know.
I figured that would be it, but you know, you never know. That's why I asked the question.
I do. I have a history of military service in my family. Both my grandfathers served. My mom's dad was in the Navy, World War II, on the USS Fanning, was a Class DD destroyer. He was on the ship. The ship was one of them that bombed Iwo Jima just prior to the Marines landing. So he was on the Fanning then. I have the muster rosters, you know, that show when he got on and when he got off. And so he was there for that. He escorted the USS Enterprise. He was on the Fanning when it escorted the Enterprise for the Doolittle raid. So he was escorting the aircraft carrier that Doolittle and his raiders took off on to do, you know, and Doolittle, of course, later was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. So, my grandfather never talked about those things. Those are things I found out later. But anyway, so that was one. My other grandfather, he served during the Korean conflict. He stayed stateside, he was stationed up in New Jersey. And he never deployed anywhere, but he was Army. And then, of course, my dad, my uncle was Air Force. So just a long history of military service in my family. Mm-hmm. And high school, I was in JROTC. So I knew at some point in my life I was going to serve. So I didn't join until I was in my late 20s. Actually, I'd already been a corrections officer. I'd been a full-time cop. I'd been a firearms instructor, defensive tactics instructor, and was at a point in my life that family was stable. Had a good job. We had a good house, and I wanted to serve. I also wanted to be able to further my formal education without putting my family in debt. So I'm like, hey, this is a great way. So I joined up. I was working full time as a city cop at a department in Florida, and joined as a reservist. They wanted me really bad to go active duty, and I tried to convince my wife, and she's like, nah, not yet. And because all our family is there in Avon Park and in Sebring area. So I actually joined a reserve unit out of Tampa, Florida, just down the road from MacDill Air Force Base. It was a combat support military police company. And a few short months later, before I even made it to basic, September 11th, 2001. And so I knew at some point, even though I hadn't even been to basic yet, I knew from my dad, I knew from just watching the news and listening to the way the unit was talking, we were going to be activated at some point. And for over a year, we kept waiting and waiting and we never got called for Afghanistan. So we figured we're going. And they started talking about Iraq. And prior to the war beginning, so early 2003, is when my unit was given activation orders. And so I started active duty somewhere around, I think, February of 2003. We went to Fort Stewart, Georgia, outside of Savannah, for our train up for a couple months, getting getting our equipment, and then we landed boots on ground in May of '03. So yeah, I'd already been a correctional officer for a year and a half, working in both a maximum security state prison and in a county jail. I've been a full-time law enforcement officer. I was on our SRT, special response team, basically a search warrant entry team. I'd had a canine for a while. I'd made a rank corporal at the police department. And, now it was time to go do a different job. So yeah, I made it over there.
For you, Adam. You went to boot camp in your late 20s after being a corrections officer and a police officer. What was boot camp like, going with a bunch of 18-year-old kids?
I had a blast. I did. Military police are one of the few MOSs in the Army that they're called OSUT, One Station Unit Training. So you go through basic training and your AIT school all at the same place, all together, no time off in between, same drill sergeants, same companies, same people that you've been with all through basic. So, and all through basic, I just looked at it as, you know what, you're paying me to dress up in camo, get me in shape. I get to go shoot. I get to do all this stuff that eventually I know I'm going to be able to get to go use somewhere down the road. What else you got for me? I mean, I had already been through gas chambers and OC sprays and been tasered and all that kind of stuff, for all my certifications in law enforcement. And so it was like a cool summer camp for me. I mean, it really was.
Did they call you like Salt Dog or anything like that? Did you have any nicknames in boot camp?
No. I was the guy.
Because you were probably older than your drill instructors or your drill sergeants.
I was around the same age of at least one of them.
Yeah, so you could have looked at one of those guys in the eye and said, "Hey, dude, come on, man, really?" Well,
no. I mean, they got a job to do, and I know. But I would, I'd sit there and I'd have to almost like not laugh because I understand the purpose of what they're doing and why they are the way they are. That was the mindfuck part of it, And these young kids don't get that. They didn't understand that. It was all personal. And, oh, my God. I've never seen so many, 18 to 22-year-olds cry. Men, I think I saw more of the men cry than the women. I mean, we were co-ed. Military police is a co-ed MOS. And, but yeah, no, man, I enjoyed every part of it. Matter of fact, when we got to AIT and we started doing pistol qualifications, one of the drill sergeants pulled me off to the side and said, "Hey," I said, "Yes, drill sergeant." He says, "I read your file and I have no idea how to react." And I'm like, "Yes, drill sergeant." He says, "You're a cop." And I'm like, back in Florida. And so basically he says, "And you teach firearms?" I'm like, "I have." He says, "You think you can help us get these dumb motherfuckers in?" And I literally was helping some of my fellow soldiers going through AIT with their pistol marksmanship.
So that was a good drill sergeant then, because he saw the leadership in you.
They were great. I did. And then later he, towards the end, he actually started talking to me and asking me about what what Florida law was on transferring your military police credentials to Florida credentials. So no, I had a great, experience. That it, of course, did it suck being gone for 17 weeks away from, my wife, my girls were really young at the time. Absolutely. But was it the horrible experience everyone, I won't say everyone, but that most people assume that, boot camp was just, no. Did it suck? Yeah. At times. I knew they weren't going to kill me. I knew they weren't going to eat me. So let's just roll with it.
Right.
I actually ended up getting pneumonia in between. At the end of boot camp, we ended boot camp on like a Friday night and had this like 13-mile ruck march. And then we got back to camp on like Saturday. We had all, clean all the from your FTX at the end. And I did all that stuff. And then I went and I said, I need to go sick call. I'm coughing up blood. And they put me in a hospital overnight. Saturday night. I spent Saturday night in the hospital. Sunday, I'm like, hey, I got to get out of here. They're like, why? I said, I start MP school tomorrow. I said, I am not getting recycled 2 weeks back. In the doc in the sick call bay. So like I said, they had me hook up to IVs and stuff. And he's like, I tell you what, I'll come by here at 5 tomorrow morning. And he says, if you look good enough to go, he says, then I'll let you go to MP school. Buddy, let me tell you, 5 o'clock that morning, I had everything packed. I had the bed stripped. I'd already had the nurse take my IV out. Everything was packed, folded, ready to go. And he says, how you feel? And I felt like total dog ass. And I said, I feel great, doc. I said, send me back.
A man on a mission.
He rode out, man. And my first day of MP school, I spent in sweatpants and a sweatshirt with a little knapsack next to me because I was coming out of sick call. And everyone else is all spiffed up and, nice. That's when, you still ironed your BDUs and nice looking crisp BDUs. And I come in there from 2 days in the hospital in PT sweats.
Hey, man, that's all right, man. You were the salt dog, man. You were the salt dog. There.
So, yeah, I kept in touch with a couple of guys, over the years and stuff. And, stories from basic, man, is funny.
So, you mentioned the sacrifice, having a family, you went out to boot camp, as an older guy. And you stated 17 weeks. It was no big deal, but, you're away from your family and all that. And again, it's the sacrifice. Now, let's fast forward a little bit to 2003 and 2004. You're in Iraq and you're away from your family. Could you describe a little bit about that and a little bit about what your day-to-day operations were when you were in Iraq?
So we landed boots on ground May of 2003. The ground war started March of 2003. We remember it took 3rd Infantry Division, 3rd ID, 21 days to Baghdad. And, that's when first female POW of the war, Jessica Lynch, she was taken then. All that stuff happened, in the very, very beginning of the war in Iraq. And we got there, and we're a self-contained MP unit. So we had our own Humvees, we had our own weapons, we have our own cook, we have our own, we have all of that as a full sustainable unit. So when we got into country, we were waiting on our gear to get there. So we were stuck down in Kuwait, and some of our first missions, because we had top secret security clearances, we were doing a lot of customs work. So we have been certified as customs agents. So we're basically, just sitting around twiddling our thumbs doing doing what we considered BS work, waiting our equipment to come in. So we did a lot of customs and agricultural inspection work. But once our vehicles, our trucks, our guns, all that kind of stuff and everything came in on a ship, then we started doing our missions that took us up into Iraq. And so the trucks that we had first coming over, they were soft sides. We had no armor on those trucks whatsoever. I mean, our vests were the old style, almost like Vietnam era flak vests. We weren't given great gear for our TA-50. A lot of us went out and bought our own gear. We didn't have any protection around our turrets. I mean, my gunner was just totally exposed. We got as pieces would come into our mechanics and our shop guys, they would then like have the bolt-on doors or the bolt-on plates to get us more protection. But then it would slow our Humvees down because the ones we had weren't designed to carry up armor. So I mean, it was a rough time to be there. I found out later that the time we were there was called the Wild West, because basically almost anything went. So what our job then ended up being, once we got all of our stuff, we were convoy security. So their airspace, was still risky because of RPGs and some of that the Iraqis had, and their what they could do for low flying aircraft, but we still needed to get supplies to be able to disperse to the rest of the theater around Iraq. So those supplies were coming in usually by ship or by air into Kuwait. And from Kuwait, they would be put in or already be in Connex containers, and those Connex containers would be loaded on the semi trucks. Semi convoy, usually about 25 to 30 semis, would be escorted by between usually 4 to 6 military police teams, each team in a Humvee. And we would escort those supplies from the border of Kuwait. There's a camp called Navstar at the border of Kuwait and Iraq. We pick it up there and escort it about 500 miles north to Balad, Anaconda. It's been by several names, but about 60, 70 miles north of Baghdad. And so along all those supply routes that most people know that have been there, Sword Force, Irish, Tampa, Jackson, all that stuff. And so we drop off the convoy there. Other MP teams and units would then get dispersed to other units throughout the northern part of the country where we had troops. And then we'd head all the way south and usually had a day or usually 2 days. If we were in a hurry, we had a 1 day turnaround. You have 1 day to, PMCS your trucks, clean your weapons, make your phone calls, wash your gear, do anything you got to do, and make sure it's all ready to roll out. And then the next day you're heading back out on another mission. So mission tempo, once we got rocking and rolling, we were running out on a mission, usually about every other day. And our missions would take anywhere from 3 to 5 days going up and coming back.
Do you have any special missions that stand out to you? One specific mission that some special moments or some special memories, whether good or bad, that you could share with us? And if you don't want to, you certainly don't.
No, not a bit. Like I said, I'm proud of what I did and the people I was with. So talking about there's one mission. There's one mission for both sides. So out of all the convoys that we went on and up into Iraq, I will tell you there was only one mission that we did not get attacked in some form. So every mission we went on, except for one that we were attacked. Sometimes it was just small arms fire. Sometimes, depending on the route, there was a sniper that liked to hide out in around kind of like this. It was this underpass area around Baghdad where a lot of different roads come to meet, and just easy target for long range shots.
Who was attacking you? Because I know that that we were fighting a lot of different groups, and
at the time we were there, the intelligence that had been told to us was that and the reason that it only took 21 days to Baghdad is because basically the majority of the Iraqi army disbanded,
right,
including the Republican Guard. So the Republican Guard also disbanded. They basically dropped everything they did, and they went into hiding back into their own neighborhoods and other places in the country. And what they were doing is they were recruiting military age males and people to then use guerrilla tactics and fight against us. So at that time, I'm certain that we were fighting Iraqi insurgents.
So, was it Taliban, or was it Al Qaeda, or was it anything like that, or you were just
no? These were
army. You were fighting.
We were fighting. The Iraqis. I mean, they, the ones that did not want us there. In Iraq, you had the Shiites, and you didn't have Al Qaeda and Taliban. That's an Afghanistan terrorist cell. In Iraq, you had a very dictatorial and a very evil government. Saddam Hussein was absolutely evil in what he did and who he was. Very, very selfish man. You can see that, in the outskirts of the country versus where he lived and what he lived in, and the extravagance of the palaces and his mistress's palace is a huge mansion. We did some historical item preservation for 3rd Infantry Division as an MP company, and so they have some.
I bet that was some pretty cool stuff.
I may have some pictures if such things exist.
I may have some gold buried somewhere, and
no. But you're not far off. Literally, I don't have it, but I had it in my hand. Gold plated AK-47s, gold platinum plated pistols with elephant tusk grips.
And a suitcase full of tar, right?
I didn't see any cash or money, but let me tell you, some of these historical items and some of this stuff is even the cleaning kit was gold plated. Yeah, I'm just like, wow.
So you're saying that they had cash. They had. I mean, what they found them had $1 million.
And Saddam, one of the common sayings was the eyes of Saddam are everywhere. He had his network of spies everywhere, but on top of that, his face was literally everywhere in that country. It was on the sides of buildings as you came into town. He had statues of himself. His face was on every piece of Iraqi currency.
Yeah.
So everywhere they went, they saw the eyes of Saddam. And, if you spoke against him in any way, he wouldn't just hurt you. He'd wipe out your entire family. Your genealogy is gone.
Yeah. And, North Korea 2.0.
Yeah. So I don't think anyone in my time was there questioned what we were there for and why we were there. It was, yeah, we're going to take this dude out of power and get rid of some evil in the world.
Right.
Never would I have thought we would be an occupational force for so long. I mean, because so much happened while I was there and I witnessed it. I mean, when I got there, I mean, we had already toppled, overthrown the government. We were in the process of establishing a new one, and so I was there. If you remember the first vote, remember the first vote, and everyone's walking around with a purple finger because we were on a mission when that happened that day. Yeah, talk about pucker.
My brother was actually there, and he's got pictures that he took with his own camera of the Saddam Hussein statue being toppled in Baghdad.
Yeah, and I've seen some footage like that from private cameras and stuff. But yeah, so one day one mission we did not get attacked in any way, and then the other mission that stands out is 4th of July 2004. Independence Day, and we saw some fireworks. We were just going through a time period where we had been doing a lot of daytime missions because it was a lot safer during the day because it was so hot. We could run the missions, and then they were about to change on this particular day. I guess it was 4th of July. They were supposed to change and go to all convoys running at night, night missions. And we, as long as we could get out of the gate before, I think, 6 a.m., it didn't go into effect until 0600. So my platoon sergeant and the convoy commander, and we were trying to get out of the gate, get everyone out of the gate before 6 a.m. So we weren't sitting there for 12 hours doing absolutely nothing, twiddling our thumbs. We wanted to get the mission done. So we all get out of the gate, and we're doing good. We come around the southwest side of BIOP, Baghdad International Airport, and of course we controlled all that area at the time. I think we were leaving out of Scania or Cedar 2, and then coming around, that Sword Force Irish area. And so we were coming around the south side, and I was in a Humvee. I was team leader. I had my driver and my gunner, and my truck was one of the fastest trucks on that convoy, my Humvee. So, and I had my kick-ass team. My driver and gunner were just, we all keep in contact and still talk to this day, almost 20 years later. And, but anyways, so we were heading to the front of the convoy because we were a scout vehicle. We were the fastest, we were a great team. So we were scout. And so we're jumping into the far right lane because it's a 6-lane highway divided, convoys in the center lane. So we're heading around, and I jump out, and we're coming to the front of the to the front of the convoy, and I hear my platoon sergeant on the radio call out suspicious vehicle on the right hand side. Well, we're coming up on it, and as soon as I see it, I know it's going to blow up. European, style vehicle. Old, up on blocks, no tires, and probably about 25-gallon containers of gas all over, around, on top of, and everything, that the vehicle up on blocks. Now that wasn't an uncommon sight, because one of the things we did when we started bombing is we took out all their fuel stations, and then in the air part of the war, and if you can't get fuel, your army is stuck. So we took out a lot of their, and almost all of their, even commercial gas stations in the area. And so it wasn't uncommon for young boys to be on the side of the road with cans of gas selling it. Two,
Right.
you just pull off onto the shoulder of the road. They come up and pour some gas. You pay them, and you go on. But but I'm looking, and all of these cans are like halfway filled. The gas cans are almost see-through. It's diesel, but and then there's no buoy. There's no buoy anywhere. And I knew, and I yelled to my driver, Nancy Vega. I just yelled, "Turn, turn, turn!" And buddy, she didn't hesitate. She didn't flinch. She didn't question. She took that wheel. She jerked it hard left, and right in front of one of the semis. And as soon as she did, that thing blew up. It had I'm sure it had an artillery shell inside it. I mean, blast blew all of us forward inside the truck, banging our heads, dash, center post. It blew my gunner back into my truck, all fills up with smoke. We're dazed. What we didn't realize is that it also hit the semi truck behind us, shattered that windshield. So they didn't know where they were going. Right behind us, he also had some lacerations to his face. I'm making sure I'm okay. I'm, making sure I know where I am, what I'm doing. I look, I see my gunner. Are you up? Are you good? My driver, she's up, she's good. They're on the radio. Our truck was, I think we were Papa 13, and they were calling, seeing how we were. I can't hardly hear. Next thing I know, I go to look in my rear view mirror because we had cut across, and I have to yank my M16 203 into the truck because that semi that guy hit in the windshield sideswiped my Humvee. So it just got hit with the car bomb, and then we got sideswiped by the Humvee. But we're banged up, but I mean everyone's still okay. We go a couple miles down the road, set up the Iron Diamond, and put the what we thought were injured or injured vehicles in the middle, but turned out it wasn't too bad. All the MPs, all U.S. personnel, no injuries. The driver that did get some facial lacerations was TCN, Third Country National, and they were minor. But
was it that?
But yeah, so that was 4th of July 2004, and then that night we're at Camp Anaconda, and of course we get hit about 200 yards away with mortars. So that was that night. So
it was a wild night. That was a wild day.
That was a wild mission.
Was it that child? Was it that child that set that roadside bomb?
No. Usually you see children. You see, boys 10, 12 years old, and they sell gas.
Sure.
So no, that there was no boy.
Because he was there and then he disappeared. So I didn't know if
he wasn't there. There was never.
Else.
No, that's just usually what we would see.
Okay,
is
got it.
A child with it. And that's how I knew when I looked and I did not see a child. I'm like, that's a bomb.
Yeah, and the only reason why I say that is because, unfortunately, they, a lot of those Mideast countries use their child and their wives as, as bombs.
And it's very possible. It's not uncommon for that.
So,
no, this one I'm fairly certain was used a cell phone detonator. That was a very popular means at the time of setting off IEDs. If it wasn't pressure, then and because where we were in the city, there were several multi-story buildings around. So from any vantage point, it just someone could have been standing waiting for us to get right there, and that's what happened. As soon as they saw my truck right there, they detonated. But it was our lucky day.
So they were laying in wait.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got there,
They were watching.
you got to where, you know, they thought that they would expect some sort of casualties, and you guys defied all the odds. You guys survived it, and you lived to tell another story that evening when you were under rocket attack, right?
Yeah. And that's, you know, those kinds of stories are the basis, and those types of actions. I mean, not every time was a car bomb, but you know, those are the basis and the truth behind the song "Tonight We Ride." That song is a dedication to 810th MP Company, the men and women I served with, and anyone basically who's ever been part of a combat zone convoy understands, you know, the quick ups and downs and the not knowing, and all of a sudden you're going through pure silence, and then you're in pure hell.
Right.
So, but yeah, so that's so yeah, we had one day where we didn't get attacked, and we had one day that it was full of them. We saw a lot of fireworks.
Man, I'm glad that you guys all survived that attack, and you know, lived to tell the story. And you know, and I want to talk a little bit about what you're doing now, because you are literally saving lives as we speak through your voice, through the sounds you make with your guitar, with your band. You are Blackbird Anthem. You are a lead singer. I mean, dude, you're a rock star. Let's face it. And just a few of my favorite songs are MOH, you know, and Come and Take It, Hey Texas. I mean, these are all songs that I have on my Spotify that I always play in my truck. I always play them when I'm on my walks. They make me feel good. They pump me up. They motivate me. And not only are they inspirational songs, but again, it gets me going. And they're not all like fast paced and stuff, but a lot of it, if you just listen to the lyrics, you can get lost in the lyrics. And that's what your music is all about. Now, we are short on time here. We only have about 8 minutes left because this interview has gone so fast. Because I mean, we could probably talk for 8 hours with everything that you've done and stuff. But in just 5 minutes here, can you please explain to our listeners how you got started after your military career and doing what you're doing now?
So, yeah, when I came home in 04, and, you know, thought everything was good for a little bit, struggled then, struggled with family, struggled with vices like a lot of us do. And finally, you know, went and got some help, and amazing woman said, you need to balance your brain. I'm going to challenge you to learn an instrument. So at 33 years old, I borrowed a guitar, started watching YouTube videos, locked myself in a room. Incredible. And I taught myself how to play guitar. And I took it as like a challenge first, you know. It's like, okay, I see you, go play an instrument and I'll raise you, you know. But it ended up being such an amazing form of self-therapy. I could get lost in it just for hours because it occupied both hands. It forced me to think in ways that I hadn't before. And it really brought a balance to my brain, you know, because I was very much the policy, procedure, black, white,
Sure.
And then when I realized, hey, I might be able to play, I started writing, and then thought I might have something to say. And then I started trying to figure out my voice. Do I have a voice, or do I just have these songs and maybe get someone else to sing them? So started working on that. Formed the band in 2015. Called it a band name. You know, I wanted a band. I didn't want an Adam C. Martin band. I wanted a team. I wanted a brotherhood. And fast forward, a lot of bars, a lot of nightclubs, a lot of no's, a lot of, well, it's not the right sound, but a lot of good yeses and a lot of great people. And now we have songs on Spotify. We've won awards. We've played, from Florida to Washington. I was just in Alaska a couple weeks ago. And the list is growing, and it's so humbling for us to be able to go out and play this music, whatever venue that we're at, and we know that music can heal, and I'm not saying I'm out there, saving lives at every show or whatever, but I know there are songs and there are musicians and there are artists that I credit with getting me through some hard times, and if we can be that for someone else, we're honored, and we're going to keep doing it.
Hey guys, I want to play a little bit of "Come and Take It" here by Blackbird Anthem. This man, at 33 years old, picked up a guitar, not a Fisher-Price guitar where they have the color coordinated. I'm talking like a guitar. And he can play the hell out of a guitar. And this guy is good. And he's got a band. They've got drums. They've got steel guitars. They've got fiddles. They've got, you name it. These guys make music on stage, and they do it very, very well. And if you can, my guy right there.
Well, I tell you, that music in the background, the musical direction of the band, a lot of that, I can't take credit for all that. A lot of that's Jeremy Chestnut. Jeremy is he's our big guitar
that's your
player.
Band.
That's this band. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
But Jeremy and I, right? You talked about MOH. We wrote that on the fly, him and I, in a hotel room the day before we put it on the record.
Sometimes the best work done is on the fly, and as you go, they're called as-builts. The blueprint is in your brain, and if you can lay it out, and if your mind allows you to, you can do incredible things that way. And a lot of the times, if you overthink things, that's when things start to kind of fall apart before they even happen. Yep. So that is truly remarkable that you guys were able to do that on the fly like that. But again,
I'll tell you a little funny story too. And I know we're running close on time, but you mentioned "Hey Texas." That album, the Texas tapes, we recorded that ourselves in Jeremy's house.
I love "Hey Texas."
Jeremy and I and our friend Marine veteran David Bowden, we wrote that. And the other ones, the last one on that album is a cover. But we recorded all of those ourselves in his house in Texas. So but "Hey Texas," I miss me some Texas. But looks like my granddaughter's going to be born in Lubbock. So
man,
there.
That is so awesome, and congratulations on your your granddaughter's coming, going to have some life changes coming. Your music career you're just getting started. You are going to have a remarkable journey, and I'm just glad that I have a front row seat to witness this, because you are an inspiration. You are an inspiration, and you are what people are looking for out there that may be struggling and going through some hard times. You can make a change, guys. He picked up a guitar. He learned how to sing. He learned how to write. And now look at him. It's incredible.
And here, anything creative. Creative. Draw, paint, write, journal. Go out and learn how to carve woodchucks with a chainsaw in a stump of wood, anything creative. And there are so many organizations, nonprofit organizations out there for veterans that deal with the arts to help expose and get you, hey, maybe you have a passion for that. But tap into that side of your brain. You never know what might come out. I
It's
never
a
thought
beautiful thing.
anywhere I'd be here.
Adam, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, I got to wrap this up. Until next time, for Tuesdays with Tally, this is